This is Queen Amoze Nefertari, and as you can see, she is unapologetically black. She is part of the golden era of ancient Egypt. Her husband, as you can see here, is actually his her brother. And so it's fair to assume that they probably would have had the same skin tone, given that they have the same parents. And as we go on, you will realize that this is a completely incestuous occasion, typical of ancient Egypt. So it's unfair to say that she was foreign or any of the following kings and queens. This is her mummy, and as you can see, she has braids, and those braids represent this hairstyle in her living. So when you see this hairstyle that is marked on a lot of ancient Egyptian queens and kings, understand that they are actually braids, not straight hair. To further illustrate her skin tone, this is her sitting with her son. This is her direct son, Amenhotep I. He is depicted in a range of ways, and he is not depicted as dark skinned as his mother, which is even dark compared to a Nubian. After him, the next to rule is Tutmos I, and it is interesting because even though he is depicted in a typical ancient Egyptian sense, in one picture he is depicted very similar to Amoze Nefertari. This is Mutnofret, the wife of Tutmos I, and as you can see, she is also depicted as dark skinned with her husband. Next is Hatshepsut. This is Hatshepsut before she adopted the physical image of a man in order to rule as queen regent for a while. Again, this is a royal wife. There is no need for her to work outside, but her skin color is clearly dark. This is Thutmose II and Thutmose III, who both made wars against Nubia and the Hyksos. Notice their lengthy bodies and dark tones. And don't forget that these people are all connected to the first person and they're all related to one another. Amunhotep then takes over and he is depicted in a typical ancient Egyptian form. Interestingly, he depicts the Hyksos and the other Syrians that went against him, and they're depicted in a way that most people in the Middle East were depicted at the time, even by themselves, with thick beards. Which, if you look at how majestic they look compared to a clean shaven look, you can understand why they glorified this. In any case, this is Thutmose III's mother, Amenhotep's mother. This is Thutmose IV, and he is depicted like this. And again, he depicts the Middle Easterners with beards, while Egyptians in his tomb are depicted like this. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This is Amenhotep III, and his wife is Queen Tai, the mother of Nefertiti. This is Amenhotep IV, who changed his name to Akhenaten. And as you can see, his wife is the same skin color as him. And of course, her facial features have this typical African facial features. And of course, there's the famous bust of Nefertiti's wife, which does not reflect her other statues or even her own daughters or Akhenaten. It's strange that this bust looks more modern than all the others, given the fact that this was a very unique artistic period where all the other art was based on the Armana style, Why is this one bust done in a completely different style? This is Amenhotep the Fourth's other wife, and another wife is documented that belonged to the Mitanni tribe, a foreign tribe from the Middle East. Even if you disagree about the skin color of the ancient Egyptians being sub Saharan African, it is impossible to deny that they thought of themselves as brown skin, dark brown skin. And seeing that sometimes they depicted themselves as jet black, it might be beneficial to consider that at least some of their DNA was sub Saharan African.